Howdy, everyone, and good day. This is Jean-Marc talking about the fire tested anatomy of LinkedIn appointment setting pitches that convert cold leads. All right, so here is the skinny. Using LinkedIn as part of your lead generation strategy can be confusing at times and frustrating, especially when you talk about how to do cold outreach via outbound messaging. What do you write? And how do you end the message? So that's what we're going to talk about here. Now, all this stuff is stuff I've actually learned via trial and error. All right. But again, that is to say that this is not necessarily gospel for your company. Depending on what you sell, maybe a different approach would be helpful. We have different approaches on the site that we cover, things such as, let's see, market research and networking messaging, and maybe video messaging, which I probably recommend that a little bit more than this. But if for some reason you're thinking that a text pitch is your best option, here we go. And so for a text pitch, you really got to understand that you are talking to a stranger here, especially if you're doing it cold. And so the first thing we want to look at and we want to do is we want to have an interrupt. Now, this is what I want you to think of. I want you to think of those old TV announcements you used to have. Say it was a news announcements, or say it was at school. Like at my elementary school, we had school announcements. They would always interrupt the day, right? Using the little loudspeaker, right? It'd be like, or something like that. So essentially, what you're looking to do with this message is make that sound. And what that thing does is it says, whoa, wait, pay attention. Pay attention. There's something important I have to listen to here. And you have to think of it also in this way. This person that you're sending the message to has a bunch of little messages in their box. How are they going to pay attention to yours? If you can't do video messaging, which I recommend several places on this site, and most likely underneath here, then you want to start with something like thanks. Thanks causes people to pay attention. I found that it gets people to understand why they're being thanked. Next, we follow up with some praise. All right, you can check that out here. Just notice your shared post on yada, yada, yada. Good stuff. Always good to connect with the fellow and explain what you have in common. Familiarity. What you're doing here is you're finding a reason to interrupt their day that is not going to tick them off. Excuse me. After that, we're going to go into humor and answering objections. All right, so I love to say something like, I promise I haven't just connected to increase my connections on LinkedIn, which is a common concern, so you address that up front. Although it's never a bad thing, smiley face. I run strategic IT company. We've helped different companies solve problems and issues with custom software and have built solutions that save companies like yours up to 10 million plus each year. You can learn more here at there's your link, which you will track via Bitly. If you're not familiar, that's bit.ly. It's a service that allows you to track links, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. Lastly, at the very bottom, I ask, would it make sense for us to have a quick chat when it works for you? And now all this goes into this format that LinkedIn recommends. If you've ever checked out their information on sales prospecting or how to do sales work using LinkedIn, they're going to recommend a few things. And this is my approximation of that. First, you want to start personally with your pitch. People don't really care about your product, but they may be interested in talking to you because people dig talking to other people, especially those that they like. So you want to start personally, find something that you have in common, something interesting they've done. Next, you want to say what you're about. Just like we mentioned in that last message, we quickly explain what we do, why it matters to them. And lastly, you want to seal the deal. Ask for what you're going to ask for. The worst failures I had in the past when I was doing LinkedIn prospecting for customers is I kept it vague. Said, hey, why don't we connect? Or why don't we check out and each other and see if we can if we can talk more. It sounds annoying because it is. People don't want to go into their messages and then have to rack their brain about what you want to talk about. If you're going to talk to them about sales, talk to them about sales. Don't pretend you're doing something else. It'll make everyone a lot happier. The worst they can tell you is no. I promise they won't shoot you. That's what I always say to my friends. I promise you, they won't shoot you. Okay? Now, the biggest sales mistake people make on LinkedIn is not doing that, not starting personally. I actually ran into a sales pitch a while back. This guy was asking me to sign up for a credit card. Hey, click here. You qualify because you're an awesome business owner. And here you go. Anyone brought that to our face in a one-on-one conversation, they would see how awkward it is. But a lot of times, as marketers, especially when we're lazy, we like to cut out this whole personal thing. We like to make it very transactional, and that's not how people do business. So let's talk about the necessity for personalization in social selling, and we'll talk about more ways to be personal in social selling. Well, personalization has changed a bit over the years because if you can think back to the 90s, early 2000s, everyone was saying, hey, let's just change the name. You can see it now. It's a common feature in most email marketing software. You can change the first name with a special tag. And voila, it's a personalized message. Here's the point. As marketers use a tool to this critical mass, people end up realizing, oh, this is what they're doing to me. This is no longer nice because I know it's all part of a system. People dug it in the past because, hey, we thought that the only way to put someone's first name in the email was to write it. Foolish us, right? Back in the day. But now it's common, so it's not tricking anybody. Not to say that you want to trick folks. Now let's talk about a better way to add humanity to your sales and prospecting. And I could not write this piece if I didn't include this part. My top recommendation today is using social selling and video together because it allows you to get that humanity across. And to top it off, LinkedIn has recently made video previews automatic. So, for example, if I add my video link, so I record my videos using Loom Pro, that's Loom, LOOM.com. Think of the old sewing thingy. When I record my videos with that and I stick that link in to LinkedIn, there's going to be a picture of my video and the first couple of seconds. And in the first couple seconds of all my videos, I'm always waving, saying hello. So when people go into their messages, here's what they see. Text, 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 text. All of a sudden, here's this guy just waving. That's going to stand out. And as one person put it to me in a message, this begs me to click it. And that's exactly what we want. We want to stand out from the crowd and get people engaging with us. And also, video has a whole lot of stuff going for it. One, it's trackable. When someone watches it, you get notified via email. So you get that implied consent. You know it's time to go ahead and follow up with them. Next, you can get across body language, tonality, and your words. So the ways that human beings actually communicate. Hey, here's why I'm here on this video. It's because I could go ahead and write to you my quick little notes, but this allows me to connect with you. And that is the main thing I want to get across here. You want to make sure that you're using your pitching to connect with people on a personal level, get past all the noise. All right, this has been Jean-Marc St. Laurent talking about LinkedIn appointment setting pitches that convert cold leads. Take care. Peace.